Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Breakdown. I'm CJ Pierre.
Stoney.
Kyle Walberg.
Antolino.
And I'm Janty.
All right, well, how you doing, fellas?
Good.
I'm doing good.
All right,
Great.
good. All right. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to start the show on a little somber note. Adrian Peterson's 2-year-old son that lives in South Dakota died from injuries after being abused by his mother's then boyfriend. Our heart goes out to the Peterson family, and hopefully they can deal with this tragedy and his son's a better place. And we can just bring it to the sports side of things. Adrian Peterson will play against the Carolina Panthers, and we just kind of want to talk about players that have to play through a tragedy. Stoney, what do you think that you expect from Adrian Peterson, and do you think it's a good idea that he's getting out there on the field?
Absolutely, it's a great idea. I know when tragedies happen, the best thing for him to do is be around his teammates, be around the guys, so he can feel that support. It's definitely hard. It's losing your own son. I could never imagine that, but it's definitely good. He's going to have his teammates with them, and then he's going to have a reason to get out some of that anger, frustration. Even though he's a good Christian guy, I know he wouldn't wish any harm on Mr. Peterson, but he's definitely going to take it out on the football field.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when you're in a sport, your teammates are your family. I mean, you essentially have a second family. So for him, he's kind of surrounding himself with people that can help him kind of get through this. And I think you'll either see two sides of him. You'll either see a complete beast mode, or you'll see someone who, maybe struggles to, get started because he's thinking about his son. I really hope that it's the first one where he's, just out there with a vengeance saying, you know what, I'm going to run over everybody. I'm doing this for my son. I mean, you look at other people who've had family members die a day, 2 days before a game. You've looked how they've performed. So I hope that it keeps up for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to say whether it's a good idea or bad idea because people deal with different things differently. I mean, that's his choice, so I'm pretty sure that's good for him. He chose to play, so I think that's just going to help be a motivation for him. And, I wouldn't want to tackle him today. But I can't say whether it's good or bad, but, I'm happy to see him going out there and be where he feels he's more comfortable. And, my prayers go out to him because, that is something that's really rough to deal with, especially, when it wasn't in his hands and he wasn't able to do anything about it. But,
Yeah, the first thing I want to say is my heart goes out to their family, and everyone has to deal with the situation. I think it's a great idea that he plays because that's what his son would want. In the end, that's what he cares about the most, is what makes his son happy. And his son would be proud to have him play today and do the best he can, even through a tragedy. And I always think about when you lose someone, what they want more than anything, and that's what his son would want.
First of all, I mean, we're all just, guys that are just sitting around, chatting, talking about sports. We're not professionals in any sense of the matter, and, none of us can really actually even think about what Adrian Peterson is going through. So, like Antolino said, whatever decision he made was going to be the right one for him. It's true. If I was Adrian Peterson and I was on the field and I was if I was a defender that had to tackle him, I'd be like, you do it. But I think that Adrian Peterson is going to be a man possessed today. I think that he's going to destroy anybody who even attempts to tackle him. Hopefully, he's able to channel that rage and channel that fury so he doesn't play sloppy. Hopefully the team can, feed off of his emotion, and then the Vikings can play well. But just want to touch on it a little bit, that this speaks to just such a tragedy and a tragic problem in our country and in our society about domestic violence. And these kind of situations shouldn't happen. This isn't something that, that it's such a freak incident, but it seems like a freak incident, but this kind of stuff happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem in this society. And let alone, rather it be someone like Adrian Peterson, let it be anybody else. These kind of things should not happen, and that should just be a message to all people in society that we need to be careful with who we bring in children's lives, and what kind of residual effects it may have in the future.
I think one thing, just to add on that, I think that everybody has been really awesome about it. Like, everyone's been sending him prayers. I mean, you look at NFL. Vikings, Packers have had just a huge rivalry. They've always been known to hate each other. But you look at lots of Packers players, they're offering their support. They've got the Packers logo surrounded by purple. You look at baseball players. Bryce Harper's tweeted out. LeBron's tweeted out. All these just huge name players are showing their support because, like, it's just such a tragedy, and I like how everybody's kind of supported him in this.
Yeah, it really shows about the true fraternity that is sports. You know, when you're an athlete and the life that you live, and the guys that you're on the road with are your family, and the brotherhood of sports. You know, even athletes reaching out to other athletes. It just shows the camaraderie that sports has. You know, this is bigger than a game. You know, this is bigger than just football field or basketball court. Anything like that. This is life, and athletes really know what other athletes can deal with. So that's a good point to bring up there.
It's kind of like the whole Matt Schaub situation where fans approached his house because of his poor play, but
Don't call them fans. They're idiots.
yes, okay.
Pretty much.
Substitute your choice of word, and then just seeing the support of the NFL and everybody else around him. Yeah, he's a player, but then he's also a human being. We don't need to be going to his house and trying to start a confrontation in front of his family. I mean, it's uncalled for.
Like, what are you doing? What is going on in your life that you will go to a professional player's house and just yell at him because he's playing bad? Like, what is wrong with
That's
you?
not a true fan.
It's like,
Yeah.
Well, technically,
All
the word
that's-
fan does mean fanatic. So maybe they are true fans. They're just way into it,
No, it's-
way too much. You don't go to any player's house. You don't mess with a player's family. You don't go to a player's house. That stuff is separate when it comes to sports.
Yep.
You stay away from family and
I'll tell you this
personal
right now.
properties.
Definitely uncalled for.
if J.J. Watt was playing bad, I guarantee you nobody would try to roll up to his house and try to say something about him. Guarantee you that.
Well, all they have to do is wait a couple of weeks, and then you can go to his house and say Happy Halloween. So just wait a couple of weeks, then you can go to his house.